Hello, everybody, and welcome to our online version of our 2017 Komen Impact Forum. My name is Amber Livingston, and I'm the three-day specialist here at Susan G. Komen headquarters, and I am joined today by Krissa Smith, who is our Senior Manager of Scientific Review. We are here to talk to you today about our bold goals, some new exciting things that are happening on the mission side of the house, and then I will also give us an update on all things 3-day. So if you guys aren't familiar with the Komen Impact Forums, we started them last year and we actually went to 10 cities. We went to our 7 host cities and then 3 of our former walk cities. We continued it this year, but only were able to go back to our 7 host cities. But we felt that the information was incredibly vital for all of our participants, so we thought we would bring it to life via webinar for you all to have access to all of this information. So before we get started, I do want to share a quick video with you. It is kind of what we're considering our 3-day hype video. It's a great recruitment tool. We'd love for you to share it. It's on YouTube, but I want to share it with you right now, so please enjoy.
Because we must. Yeah. We are strong because the journey demands it. Together in body and united in spirit, we lay down our footsteps for this generation and the next. This is our promise. A world without breast cancer.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Here's just a quick rundown of what we're going to talk through. Like I mentioned, we're going to do a brief intro and welcome, and then I'll hand it over to Krissa to talk through our mission impact and really focus on Komen's bold goal that I hope you all have heard about by now. And then we will finish off with a quick 2016 3-day recap and a brief discussion of the 2017 program. So as I mentioned, I'm Amber Livingston, and we're joined by Krissa Smith. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to mention before handing it off to Krissa is discuss our new brand platform, which is More Than Pink. Hopefully you all are familiar with this, have seen it, saw it on an event last year, but I wanted to share a little bit of information about it so you had some more info on what it means to be More Than Pink. So we launched the platform last fall in conjunction with the Bold Goal. And this is an exciting time for the organization because this really speaks to who we are as an organization and where we want to go. It's a series of initiatives that celebrate the heroes that have made a significant impact in the fight to end breast cancer. And it's actually supported by several of our corporate partners, and I want to share those with you. They are American Airlines, Bank of America, Condé Nast, Simon Property Group, and WWE. These are 5 of our major partners, and they've collectively raised over $100 million for Komen. So we're very grateful to have them on board as corporate partners of ours, and they were really instrumental in launching this campaign and platform with us last fall. But before I share the manifesto with you, there's no group within Komen, in my opinion, that really embodies what it means to be more than pink, more than the 3-day community. Being more than pink means going above and beyond the call of duty and doing the most that you can do in the fight against breast cancer, and not just talking about it, not just sitting there, watching things happen. It's doing something. And that's what the 3-day community does. You walk 3 days, 60 miles, and you raise $2,300, and most of you raise well above and beyond that. And so when we talk about being more than pink, the 3-day community comes to mind instantly because of the impact and the steps you are taking to really, change the way of breast cancer and make an impact and make differences through various forms of research, through our community programs, and things of that nature. So I want to thank you first and foremost for being more than pink and being such a strong community for Susan G. Komen. As I mentioned, I want to share our More Than Pink manifesto, and I will read it out loud real quick. It's one thing to talk about a cause. It's another to do something about it. So we're done talking. We want more doing. We're not one to get lost in a crowd of pink. We want to turn our pink ribbons into kick-ass kung fu belts. Let's support the heroes who keep us going, like Lara, who fights every day to get out of bed, or Brad, who drives Kim to all of her chemo appointments. Pink isn't always as pretty as it sounds. And the thing is, we are much more than just a color. We are more than pink. And you can feel the power and see the power in these words. And this is what it means to be more than pink. And this is what you are every single day. And so I also want to share our More Than Pink Heroes list. So if you guys have not seen any of these, this is a group of 35 individuals who actually represent the 35 years Komen has been in existence. The 35th anniversary is this July. That we put together an inaugural lineup, which we have called, the More Than Pink Heroes list. And it is recognizing scientists, clinicians, advocates, community leaders, athletes, musicians, public figures, and everyday heroes for their efforts in the fight against breast cancer. And I want to share one particular story real quick. Tina McDonough, who is up there between D'Angelo Williams and Laura Bush, is actually a 3-day walker. She is one of you, and she is named to this prestigious list of More Than Pink heroes for what she has done in the fight against breast cancer. So let me just briefly share her story. Losing a dear friend to breast cancer made Tina McDonough realize that she had to do something to ensure that no one else died of this disease. In 2007, Tina began walking the Susan G. Komen 3-day. Her team, Valley Girls and Guys, continued to grow and is one of the largest 3-day teams in the country. To date, her team has raised more than $2.6 million for breast cancer research and community programs. But Tina is much more than just a team captain. She is a true leader, rallying others in the fight against breast cancer. But walking wasn't enough for her. In her hometown of Seattle, she even founded her own nonprofit with the goal of providing direct patient support for women and families battling breast cancer. So it's people like Tina, it's people like Pippa Mann and Dr. Lori Wilson who are making huge strides and huge impacts in the fight against breast cancer. And I encourage you all to visit Komen.org and go to the More Than Pink page, and you can actually read short little stories about all 35 of our heroes on what they've done to make an impact in the fight against breast cancer. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Krista Smith, who is going to talk us through the bold goal and some exciting things happening on the research front. So Krista, take it away.
Thanks, Amber. We're very excited to be able to share with you the impact that your dollars are having on the research programs here at Komen. So we have a vision, a world without breast cancer. And that mission is to save lives by meeting the most critical needs in our communities and investing in breast cancer research. So this has been our goal for many years, and it remains the same today. Komen is uniquely positioned because we're not only looking in the community, but we're also working in the research field to find the cure. This becomes very important as we're looking for discovery to delivery. This works not only in a research setting, which is what you would initially think of, where you're looking to discover a cure and deliver that to patients, but this also works in our communities. And we often discover things in the communities, better ways to connect with our patients, better ways to deliver care, and those can then be delivered and increase the way that our patients and breast cancer survivors are able to move forward. So what have we done thus far? We've invested more than $920 million in breast cancer research since 1982. We've supported more than 460 clinical trials. And if you stop and think about that for a minute, many clinical trials involve only a few patients, up to 20, but many involve hundreds of patients. This reflects hundreds and hundreds of thousands of women who have participated in clinical trials looking to find better cures and better treatments for breast cancer. So on any day, Komen helps to provide all of these different services. This is a huge amount of impact, and that's what your funds, your donations are going towards. So much has been accomplished. We've decreased death rates by 38% since 2014. There are now more than 3.1 million breast cancer survivors. That's the largest group of breast cancer survivors in the United States. That's pretty significant. That's a pretty significant voice. However, there's still work to do. It's still the #1 cause of cancer death for women 20 to 39 in the US. And every 60 seconds, someone in the world dies of breast cancer. Every 13 minutes, a woman in the US loses her life to breast cancer. So Komen proposed a bold goal. Komen proposes that we would reduce the current number of breast cancer deaths by 50% in the US by 2026. This is pretty significant. It is a very bold goal, but we believe that we can do it and that we have the impact, we have the pieces in place that can put us right where we need to be to have that kind of impact. So what's our plan to achieve the bold goal? This is going to be, just as Komen's uniquely positioned both in the community and the research world, this is where we're going to have our impact. So both in the community, looking at increasing early detection, access to care, and patient navigation. Additionally, health equity. We have a specific movement focused on health equity to make sure that it doesn't matter where you live and who you are, that you should have access to the same health resources. For research, we're focusing on things like prevention, technologies, advances in treatment, and continuing to fund young investigators to become the breast cancer leaders of the future. So an example of one of the main ways to increase survivorship in breast cancer patients would be this continuum of care. So normally a woman goes from screening to diagnosis to treatment and follow-up and survival. There are two places where women tend to fall out of this continuum of care. That's going to be after they receive an abnormal screening. They just don't want to deal with having to go back and find out if that's really cancer, or after they've been diagnosed as having cancer, they just don't want to follow up and get into treatment. So as you can see in this fantastic chart, the continuum of care is circled by education. So as we educate people and help navigate them through the continuum of care, this is where we're going to see a significant increase in keeping women on the path towards survivorship and keeping them alive. There are a couple ways that we do this. So one of them is going to be is the helpline. We offer resources for women to call in, to ask any questions that they might have, and to be able to have the support that they need to ask questions that maybe you don't have time to ask your doctor. Maybe as they're giving you all of that information and all of those big words, you need an additional resource to help be able to ask what you need to ask to make the decisions. They're very difficult decisions. Your doctor doesn't always say, this is the absolute right thing for you. They often say things like, these are your two options, and you get to decide. Having an additional resource and someone to ask about it can be really helpful at that. It's a really difficult time. Additionally, Komen provides the Komen Treatment Assistance Program. This provides money as a practical support for things like transportation and childcare, oral medication for treatment, or things to help manage side effects, things that insurance doesn't really cover, but that really impacts your life and how you're going to be able to move forward and stay in treatment. Additionally, we've started the Health Equity Initiative. So this, here, the facts are that African American in the US die from breast cancer at nearly 40% more than Caucasian women. They're more likely to be diagnosed at a later stage, and Hispanic Latina tend to also be diagnosed with a later stage. So what impact does this have? Really, the idea is that who you are should not impact your survival from breast cancer. Is it going to be because of biology? Is it because of socioeconomic factors? Is it because of access to care? So our goal with the Health Equity Initiative is to reduce the number of African American breast cancer mortality, the gap, by 25% in the 5 years in US cities where the disparities are the greatest. So some of those cities actually have 3 days. Cities like Atlanta, Philadelphia, etc. We've been holding a series of roundtables that are able to discuss the best methods of building health equity in these different communities, because each community is going to be different. They each face different challenges. It might be that mass transit is a big issue. Philadelphia may not have the mass transit that Atlanta does, or vice versa. Different ways that they can achieve access and to high quality screening, treatment, and getting women the care that they need, keeping them in that continuum of care. Patient navigation is going to be a big key, being able to talk people through each step and connect them. Oftentimes you have your screening, but you go somewhere else for a diagnosis or treatment and follow-up. That's a really key part of keeping women in that continuum of care and getting them towards being breast cancer survivors. So through the African American Disparities Roundtables, we've partnered with over 400 experts. We have been able to really look at the different ways that those specific communities can benefit from the Disparities Roundtables. So, health equity in specific populations. Some of this could be due to cultural, ethnic issues. It can be socioeconomic. Maybe you just don't have the money to pay for parking. Every hospital I have ever been to seems to charge for parking. That can be a barrier. Quality improvement initiatives. Not all mammograms, certainly not all free mammograms, are going to be the same high quality. The digital mammogram, especially for women who have things like dense breasts, are we finding the cancers that we can find? Do we have the technology available to everyone that needs to be there? And increasing diversity in clinical trials. If it is a biological issue, if there is a difference between the different ethnicities, we need to be able to see that in our clinical trials. We have to encourage recruitment and make sure that that's being accounted for. And then community-based partnerships to overcome barriers to care. That's going to include both patient navigation as well as grant making.
And I want to mention too, Krista, I have a list of the 10 cities. So I want to make sure that everyone who watches us has the 10 cities. They are Washington, D.C., Oakland, California, Memphis, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, St. Louis, Missouri, Dallas, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Norfolk, Virginia, Atlanta, Georgia, and Houston, Texas. So those are the 10 cities that we are working heavily in over the next 5 years. And there are many more cities that are very, very close, but we're starting with these top 10 to hopefully see what works and what doesn't in these first 10 markets. And then we can hopefully expand this health equity initiative to those cities that are a close second to those top 10 and really make a difference in all of the communities where the disparities gap is high.
Thanks, Amber. So another important part about our bold goal and increasing breast cancer survivorship is going to be metastatic breast cancer. Most women typically don't die from a primary breast cancer tumor. The problem is when those breast cancer cells travel, they break off from the tumor, they travel to another site, and they're able to then grow. Now, this isn't actually easy for a cancer cell. If you think about it, cancer cells are typically very happy where they are inside their primary tumor. However, a few of them are able to somehow break away, survive that experience, travel through your body, and stop in another area, whether it's your brain, your bone, your lungs. And from that point, they're able to continue to grow. This isn't actually easy. It requires a lot of changes in the cells. So what makes these cells different and what makes them successful at being able to survive in a completely different environment? It may not surprise you, but a lung is very different than a breast. So why is that particular cell able to continue to grow there? So we are investing significantly in metastatic breast cancer, and we have over the years. We have invested more than $166 million in over 400 grants and 40 clinical trials focusing on metastatic breast cancer. So what are we investigating? We're looking at why are they metastasizing so that we can prevent it, and different ways that we can treat it. There are not great treatments out there right now for metastatic breast cancer. We have to do better. And we need new approaches to determine who's at risk. We don't want to put everyone on tamoxifen or some of these other drugs for long term if you don't need it. If you're not at risk for metastasizing, we don't want to continue to treat you.
I think another thing to note, Krista, too, before you talk about our young investigators, is for the group who will watch this, metastatic breast cancer is not a type, it's a stage of breast cancer. I think that's often confused. There are different types of breast cancer, but all are at risk of becoming metastatic. So it is a stage, it's the same as stage 4, but it is not a different type of breast cancer. So I just wanted to make sure that was a clear point to make, as I know that is often confused out in the public.
Thanks, Amber. Yeah, that's actually a really important point. Any type of breast cancer, whether it's inflammatory breast cancer or ER positive, anything can progress to metastasis, meaning that everyone is going to have a stake in metastatic breast cancer research. Metastatic breast cancer. So some of our most successful young investigators are focusing on metastatic research. Dr. Yibin Kang is from Princeton University. He grew up in China and is one of the brightest people I've ever met in my life. And he has, over the years, chosen to focus on breast cancer metastasis because it was such a big problem. He just felt that it was so important to address this topic. One of the biggest challenges we have with breast cancer metastasis is that we don't really have a great model system to look at it. Putting metastasis cells in a dish, those do not look the same as they do in a human body. You have to be able to look at the system and how do they travel through the body and survive. Like I mentioned before, this is harder than you would think. So how do we look at that in a research setting? So he's put forth a significant amount of effort focusing on bone metastasis. He's been funded by Komen since 2005. He's mentored postdoc after postdoc, and he's been a significant force, both encouraging patient advocates to get involved in research and to really work with people to find what are the crucial questions in breast cancer metastasis. What are the best ways to really look at that from a basic level? And this is going to be really key to finding ways to treat it. Dr. Whelm from the University of Utah, she was one of our early investigators back in 2002 and is now one of our Komen scholars. She's a leader both in metastasis models, focusing on the same thing. How do you look at a human cells, human tissue in a research setting? And her focus also is how can you harness the immune system in that setting and really, really find a way to target metastasis without targeting the rest of the body. And Dr. Wagle from Dana-Farber, he has done several interesting projects. One of the most interesting ones is the Metastatic Breast Cancer Project. So this is a project that if you Google it or go to the website, anyone with metastatic breast cancer can participate, but basically they're collecting all of this genomic data. They're looking to see, why did your breast cancer metastasize? Is it something in your genes? Is it something that they can find? Was there a specific thing that they, as they're collecting just sample after sample with this huge database from women all over the country, they just send you a kit and then they collect this information looking to see what makes your metastasis different, or why did you progress and not someone else. This is a really fantastic project as we look at trying to encourage people to participate in clinical trials, because you don't have to be near a center in order, a major academic center where you can enroll. This is something anyone can participate throughout the country. So you're going to collect a lot more information from people who are all over. So really our focus is finding breakthroughs for these incurable cancers, unlocking the earliest detection. We know that the earlier you find breast cancer, the better your chances are, and preventing metastatic recurrence. Breast cancer, dealing with a primary breast tumor, is often something that can be handled. However, that metastatic recurrence, as we discussed, it's metastasis that's really causing the problem. So how do we prevent that? If we can just stop it there, we would expand our breast cancer survivors even more, and that would be exactly where we want to be with our bold goal. And advancing therapeutics. Yes, we have some good therapies out there, but some of them are pretty rough. We would like to make them better and get them to the right people who need them, and not give too much therapy to those who don't need it. And finally, one of the other challenges that Komen faces, back in the day, we were one of the first ones who really started addressing breast cancer and really started trying to make a difference. That has changed. Over the years, we have many, many people who are working to help cancer patients, breast cancer patients, and to move this field forward. So how do we do more with less? We're looking at creating these strategic partnerships so that we're not doing the same thing as someone else, that we're collaborating for results, and that we're able to really share, move forward. And this is going to be really important for being able to utilize what we have out there. For instance, I'd like to highlight the Metastatic Breast Cancer Alliance that's listed on this slide. Komen's one of the founding members. We have over 30 members. It includes pharma, nonprofits, different companies that are all working together to make lives of metastatic breast cancer patients better, both at a therapeutic level, at a outcomes level, in every way. So these are collaborating and really looking to focus on what is going to help the metastatic breast cancer patient. And Komen is strongly supportive of all of these different ways, looking to better approach collaborations and better using our resources. This becomes an important part of being able to reach that bold goal, being able to reduce the number of breast cancer deaths here within the decade. And I feel very strongly that the work that we're doing in research, it feels like it can be slow, but we've come so far. We've made such an impact in such a short amount of time. I feel strongly that we can meet this bold goal, and that we are going to really have an impact in the lives of women moving forward. Back to you, Amber.
All right. So before I jump into the 3-day specific stuff, I do want to mention our affiliates. So for the people who were at an impact forum this year, we had a representative from the local affiliate come out and talk about the local impact, where the local dollars are going, what's happening on that local level. And so I want to encourage you, we have over 80 affiliates across the country. And I encourage you to reach out to your local affiliate for that local information. I know a lot of people on the 3-day are always like, well, what are my dollars going to here in my hometown? Or if you don't live in a 3-day market, what's happening in my hometown? What's happening in the local market where I live? And the local affiliates are your boots on the ground every single day, working in your communities, making things better on the breast cancer front. And I really encourage you to reach out to them and utilize them with their resources and their information that they have, because they are your best bet for knowing what's happening in your local community. So I wanted to put a plug out there to use your local affiliates. They're a great resource, and it's another way to get involved with Komen. You know, they have the Race for the Cures. Most of them have several other events throughout the year that you all can get involved in, whether it's a gala or an auction or various things like that. And I encourage you to find different ways to be involved with Komen outside of the 3-day, since we are all working toward the same goal, and they can absolutely use your help in your local community. So with that, we are going to jump into some 3-day stuff real quick. This is a snapshot of kind of our 2016 and 2017 kind of series initiatives for the program. And when we did the 3-day impact forums last year, we heard 3 buckets that were really important to you all, that we needed to work on and better serve you with. And those were building Komen rapport, affiliate collaboration, and mission integration. So as you can see, for 2016, for building Komen rapport, we started with the impact forums. We got our team, various team members from headquarters, to come out and speak to you in person and really put different faces out there that you may not know that work behind the scenes here at Komen. And that was our first step in being transparent and answering questions and answering some of the tough questions that you all have or that you receive from donors. We put together an advisory council of various participants who join us for monthly calls, and we talk through what we're thinking with the program and what we're thinking for on-event pieces and different things like that. And they're a great sounding board and a great participant voice for us to use as we plan for the program. And then we had on-event leadership participation in all of our markets last year. So I hope you guys remember we had various members of our senior leadership team, most of them being some of our vice presidents and senior vice presidents, coming out, sharing their story, and spending the weekend with you all out on the route. So I hope you were able to take advantage of that. And for 2017, that looks much of the same. We obviously did the impact forums. Our advisory council kicked off yesterday with our first meeting, and we were looking to have on-event leadership participation again. For affiliate collaboration, last year, again, they were involved with the impact forum, same as this year. And they also help us, and we do a lot of cross-promoting. So we promote their race, they promote 3-day, you know, we all are working together to raise the most money, to help impact this bold goal and really make it a reality. And so we are continuing with that. We are looking for ways to continue to optimize those relationships and really better utilize one another and use each other to our advantage, since again, they're the local experts, we're the national experts, but we need their help just like they need ours. So we are constantly looking for different ways to collaborate with the local affiliates. And then mission integration. We brought out some new infographics for you all last year, as well as started a mission webinar and blog series, and we had an on-event mission speaker. And much of that, again, is continuing this year. I know, I think we have finalized the new infographics. If they are not already out, they will be soon. We've just got some updated numbers, updated information that you guys can use and download and share with your donors. We do our mission webinars and blogs. They are called Sidewalks to Science. I hope you join us for those. If not, I hope you check them out on the 3-day YouTube page after the fact. Our webinars are every other month. And so we actually had our April webinar earlier this week. So our next one will be in June, but we have a blog post coming out in May. So I encourage you, we want to offer a different variety of ways for you guys to get the mission content. So I hope you're taking advantage of that. Our webinars are with a lot of our researchers, and it's a really great way to put a face to the research and really hear about how your dollars are impacting these researchers in the day-to-day of what they're researching. So, and then again, we are going to be infusing the Bold Goal and various mission platforms throughout the season as well. So this is kind of just a brief snapshot of kind of where you guys felt that we needed to do better. And we are working to do that every year and continue to optimize and expand on what we're doing. So briefly, I'm just going to run through our marketing initiatives from 2016. So we had our Super Fundraiser program. This is not new. It's been around for a few years. It is for folks on the 3-day who have raised more than $20,000 in their lifetime, and they're able to receive a travel offer as a thank you for all of the hard work and money that they've raised. We had our 150th reunion last year, so we celebrated our 150th walk in Michigan, and we carried that through the entire season, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to celebrate how far the 3-day has come and all that is accomplished. we have our Step Squad program, which was kind of a reinvigorated program that we brought back last year, which uses our participants as local media ambassadors to generate that local media buzz and share their story. Because we found that the story coming from the participant themselves or from a family member is much more valuable and much more impactful than if someone like me or anyone else was sharing it. So we want to make sure we utilize our participants to our advantage and share the stories and really get it out there on why we're walking and why we raise the amount of money that we raise. And it's a great program. And I know we just made selections for 2017. So I'm excited to see that program grow. And then our new walker programs for last year, we had the Bring Your Besties, which is for any new walker, as long as they met the fundraising minimum by 6 weeks out, they received a flight to any 3-day of their choice. And then we introduced the 20-mile walker program, which was our one-day option last year, where you could, for new walkers only, fundraise $750, and you got to walk on Sunday of the event. In addition, we had some other family, friends, staff promotions, and of course, digital and social media we used as well. What I want to talk about is our 2017 marketing and recruitment initiatives. I hope you guys have heard about most of these by now. Hint, hint, the deadline is April 19th, this coming week. So I hope you guys are taking advantage of it. But our Super Fundraiser program, again, same as last year, it's already been out. Our referral program is new for this year. It's open to any 2016 or 2017 participant. And all you have to do is recruit 2 new walkers to join you on the 3-day, and you do your fundraising minimum. You reach your fundraising minimum. It's $2,300 for walkers and $750 for crew. And you will have the option of a VIP slumber party or a 2-night hotel stay at one of our host hotels. The VIP slumber party, we're still finalizing details, but it's awesome. It's going to be a giant 4-person sleeper tent with air mattresses and pillows and some other fun things that I can't quite share yet as we're finalizing, but it's going to be a really great option for those folks who are in on the referral program. And it gets, especially if you're on a team, it's going to bring that community at the 3-day camp even closer. We also have the Return 17 promotion that's happening, and that is for anyone who qualified as a 2016 bestie or came as a 2016 reunion member. Again, all you need to do is recruit 2 new members to register, and you meet your fundraising minimum, and you have the opportunity to receive a flight much like you did last year. And I want to mention, for those 2 programs, you guys are not responsible for those folks completing their fundraising. We want you guys just to recruit them and get them to register. From there, if you have ideas and ways to help people to fundraise, absolutely share those. But the local teams are there to help coach and, work with these participants to reach that fundraising minimum and share, different ways that they can fundraise. So it's not on you to meet the fundraising minimum, because we don't want to penalize you in case someone for some reason can't show up to the event for whatever reason. So again, you just have to recruit them and get them to register, and then the local teams will help take it from there. And also, any of those new walkers you're bringing in can come as part of the Bring Your Besties program. I know it's kind of confusing. There's a lot of information, but any new walker that you recruit, whether it's through the referral program, the return program, or just in general, can all come in on the Bring Your Bestie promotion, which again is the same as last year. They need to register and fundraise their money by 6 weeks out, and they have the option for a free flight. So those 3 programs do expire on April 19th. So I encourage you guys to get on it if you haven't. The 20-mile walker program is coming back for this year. We are looking at expanding it and making it even better than last year. It was a really successful program last year, and we hope to do the same this year. So again, it's mostly a new walker program, but we are looking at expanding the audience, and we're finalizing details for that. So those details will be out in May, here in the next few weeks. But again, raise $750 and walk on Sunday of the event and experience closing ceremonies. So stay tuned for more of our details as we are continuing to expand and finalize all of those details, but we're really excited for what this program is going to look like. And finally, we are, as always, doing some digital and social promotion, but we've expanded that for 2017, and we are actually doing a little bit of paid digital and paid social. So on Facebook, you might see some ads that you're not used to seeing, or we're dabbling in some Google ad search and a few different things like that, trying to tap in to brand new audiences that may know nothing about the 3 days. This is really important to us because we know we've asked you to recruit and get new walkers, and at some point, the pipeline kind of runs out. And so we are taking, the step forward to use the digital and social promotion, which, since that is the way of advertising anymore in 2017, and really putting some dedicated resources behind that in order to tap into some new markets. So we're really excited. The campaigns that we're running on digital and social are actually performing very, very well. So we're very excited about that. So again, we hope that you guys are seeing some of this stuff or taking advantage of it because we're really excited about what the 3 days is going to look like for 2017. So that was a lot of information in a very short time, but we want to thank you for tuning in today, and hopefully this was some good information that we could share with you. And again, this is just an expansion off our Komen Impact Forums that we did in person over the last couple of months, and we felt the information was important and necessary enough to bring to the entire community. So we're very happy to do that. And I want to thank Krista for taking time out of her day to join us as well and speak to all of the mission aspects. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. And as always, if you have any questions about any of this stuff or just in general, please reach out to your local coach and they'll be happy to either answer the question or direct it to the right people so we can get an answer back to you. But with that said, we are going to sign off and we will see you on the 3 day this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.